Tuesdays at 7 Eastern Time's the scene. K-Live's workshops live on your favorite screen. From the White Mountains, she's bringing you the keys to unlock your potential, set your content free. Whether you're just starting or you're on the rise, this is where you'll find those golden allies. Create and connect, it's time to go live. Set your goals, watch your presence thrive. From insights to action, we're in this together. Kate's got the plan to make your content better. Each week a new topic, fresh ideas to explore. Community features, inspiration galore. Actionable steps to help you grow. Posting goals to keep your progress in flow. Whether you're just starting or you're on the rise, this is where you'll find those golden allies. Create and connect, it's time to go live. Set your goals, watch your presence thrive. From insights to action, we're in this together. Kate's got the plan to make your content better. Questions to the after space. X is where we'll meet face to face. Share your thoughts, show off your progress. Together we'll navigate the social congress. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on X and the Gram. Turn those notifications on, be part of the fam. Visit Kate's website for even more support. The stream, see what's in store. Create and connect, it's time to go live. Set your goals, watch your presence thrive. From insights to action, we're in this together. Kate's got the plan to make your content better. Connect every Sunday night with Kate as your guide. Your future's bright. From the White Mountains to your screen, join the workshop, live out your dream.
Hi everybody, how are you this evening? Oh my gosh, this is so fun. It's been so long since I've done a live stream and I'm in a new place, a new setting, new setup, and you know, we're gonna just see how it goes today because I'm kind of taking on something a little bit different, and what we're gonna do is build a website together. And so I want to just talk about this series of videos that I've been doing to give you a little bit of background on this, and then we'll get into it. But if you want to follow along with the live stream, you can with the template that I'm giving you. So it's for free, and you should find it either pinned in the comments, you can find it pinned on my X profile, you can find it pinned in or in the YouTube chat or YouTube description. I believe it's also on Facebook, commented below. Wherever you're watching this video, you should be able to find that. If you have any trouble, please let me know. You can send me a DM or a comment on the stream, and I'll make sure you get that. But if you just do a little bit of hunting, you should be able to find that. And all you have to do is click that link, and it will take you into Card, which is the website builder platform I'm going to use for this. And this template is perfect for content creators. That's who I built it with in mind, but it can work for anybody who's maybe a solopreneur, entrepreneur, or someone who's just starting out, or maybe a small business and you just need to get something up quickly. This could be your solution. And so the whole premise of these workshops is, this is called Create and Connect, and I do a weekly, but I have missed about a month of these because I've been moving. I was very sick. I think I probably had COVID or a very bad flu. I'm not sure. And so it just threw me into pure chaos. And I'm kind of still not finalized, but I do have this little makeshift setup here that I think will work in the meantime until I get my full studio set up. And so week to week, it's a progressive type of workshop, but you can jump in at any time. And with that in mind, if you want to go back and do some of the other lessons, you can. On my website, katebly.com, you can click on the Create and Connect, and that will take you into this workshop. And all the past live streams and all the past lessons are there. And you can also get access to the workbook materials that go along with each of the lessons. Now today I don't have a workbook because it is more of following along with the video. So there's not really much more you can do. But not last week's, but the last video in the series, we went into detail about the content and the things that you'll need to prepare for building the website. So it's not a lot, so you can do it, and you might already have that stuff prepared, even if you haven't done the previous weeks. So don't panic. You can still get a lot of value out of today's live stream, even if you're maybe not in the right place. It's something to start thinking about things. So after the live stream today, I'm going to host a space on X, which is a live discussion. So you can enjoy or chime in on that and talk about any issues that came up while we were going through this process, any questions you have, and then even answer the question, maybe, do I even need a website? You know, and there's a lot of people that think that they don't if they are social media content creators. And I am fairly confident that you still need that. And I'm happy to answer any questions to why and also argue that point. So bring your objections and let's have a good discussion. First, before we get started, which is going to be happening soon, don't you worry, I do want to share a referral link with you to StreamYard, which is the program I'm using for this live stream. And if you use my referral link, you get a $10 credit to any paid subscription. And that helps me out by giving me a little bit of money too. So it supports my videos, supports my streams, and lets me keep doing this for you, you know. So I really enjoy doing this, and I want to keep sharing all the information I have with you. So if you're thinking about live streaming, which I highly encourage you do, StreamYard is a great platform for that. And you can also record videos. It's very easy, very intuitive to use if you want to record videos, screen share videos, even do conference calls. You don't even you can record conference calls. You don't have to live stream, or you could just, sometimes I just jump on calls with an accountability group, and we just jump into StreamYard. It's not recorded, it's not broadcasted, it's just a place where we can all chat. So it's a neat tool worth looking into if any of those things sound good to you. And I appreciate using my referral link. All right, so last thing I wanted to talk about was just a reminder, if you have just jumped in, if you want to follow along with the build of the website that I'm going to do, I have a template ready to go for you. Just find the link with this video wherever you're watching this. It will be either below in the replies or in the comments or in the chat or in the description, depending where you're watching this. All right, so if you have any trouble, let me know. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen and we're just going to rock and roll. Let me do this and make sure I have the right one. Well, I want to show you the template first. So anyone who's not sure about it, I'm just going to give you a quick tour of the template. Let me scroll back to the top here. Okay, add, and then I'm going to just move me over here. Okay. So this is the template, and it's very simple, very basic, and I did that on purpose for you so that you can fully customize this to fit your style and your vibe. And you know what? This is reminding me now, I was going to talk about my lighting, because my whole lighting setup here, right, you're looking at is probably about $6. So I wanted to share that with you, but I'm going to show the template first. And if someone leaves a comment in the chat that says, I want to know what lighting you're using, then I will share that. But if no one does, I won't share it. So I'll leave it on you guys. All right, so the template here, very basic, very simple, okay? But it's fully customizable to fit your style and your vibe. We can change the fonts, we can change the colors, we can change the layout of things a little bit. You can add different links, different buttons, all this stuff, all the text, all that is all customizable. Add your own pictures, all of it. But I've created this so that you have a good starting point. Basically, just fill in your info. If you want to change the colors a little bit or change the fonts a little bit, that's not too much work. I'll show you how to do that. And then once you have that established, you can go from there and start building it out more if you want to, or adding things, changing things, which is something I highly recommend. And I do talk about a little bit, but we're going to get into that next week about goals, right? So when we build a website, we want to have a little bit of intention with it, that we're not just building it and then leave it on ice and never look at it again. A website should be a dynamic place, just like your social media profile. You don't have to update it 5 times a day if you post a lot like I do, but you do want to post it frequently and put your best content on there so people can find it easily. All right, so the rest of the template here, you'll see it has an area at the top, which we call a hero section, that you want to feature your latest content or your most, wherever you want to drive traffic, so if you have a video on YouTube, or if you have a weekly live stream, for instance, like I do, or if you just have a long form post, whatever it is that you do that you want to feature is what you want to put here. And then this would probably, I would say, is one of the more dynamic parts of the website, meaning this is what you want to change out on a regular basis. You don't want to leave this area kind of stagnant. You want to keep updating it with your latest content that is relevant to you and that you want to feature. So you want to think about that as we're going into this. The next part down here is the About section. So you do want to explain who you are, what you do, and who you do it for. And that, I believe, will create a great About section if you answer those questions. So, who are you? What do you do? And who do you do it for? Okay? You don't have to write your CV, you don't have to write your resume. If it is relevant to what you do, then yes, you can include it, but most people don't care. Okay? They just want to know what you can do for me. I want to know what you're going to do for me. That's all I want to know about you. And of course, having your assortment of links wherever to find more information about you, a nice picture, and adding in all the details that someone might want to know about you. So this is partly for the people that find your webpage, right, and want to get to know you better, but it's also for the bots that crawl your website. So Google search, putting in the answers to these questions, who you are, who you do it for, and I forgot who you are, what you do, and who you do it for, and answering those questions and putting it in there. Now the search robots that crawl websites will understand completely what this web page is about, right? So we've got your featured content at the top, we've got About You next, and then there's a section here for upcoming events. Now this section won't be relevant for everybody, but if you have something that you do regularly for events, live streams, or some people on X do spaces, you could put this here so that your audience can find everything that they need. So they find the date and the time, what's it about, and then quick links to RSVP. So you can put on your calendar, send them to Facebook, YouTube, wherever they're going to RSVP for the event or set reminders, okay? So this may not be a fit for you, but if you do anything like that, any kind of regular content, making it clear and visible to your audience or people that might be interested in what you do, making it easy for them to find everything that you've got going on, no matter what platform you're using, because you could be on multiple platforms, right? So wherever they're coming from, they can find where they need to go, okay? And not everyone's going to see your posts. So this is just another tactic to get their attention. Then down here is a way to collect emails. So no matter how small of a creator you are, if you build a website, you want to have a way to collect emails. And this doesn't mean you have to start, excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of water. And this doesn't mean that you have to start sending out newsletters right away, though with a small email list, it's great practice. But it just means that you're starting to collect your most interested and engaged audience, and you're starting to collect those emails so that, hey, you have their information. So when you do start a newsletter, you do start a new live stream, you do start hosting spaces, you do start putting videos out on YouTube, or you release new content, anything that you think that they might be interested in, you can start notifying them about it directly to their inbox. So this is a great way to reach your most engaged followers, and encouraging people to sign up for a newsletter is just a great way to get people to your website, right? So if you're worried that people will never ever come over here and look at your website, well, you can send them here to sign up for your email list, and now you have their contact info as well. So who knows what can happen with social media? It's very, very, a little risque to put all your eggs in one basket and assume that social media is going to be around forever, or whatever account that you're relying on. So start collecting emails as early as you can, and don't worry about it. Like, it'll grow over time. Everyone starts at 0. And then on the template here, I did leave a place for testimonials if that's relevant to you. So if you're a service provider of some kind, or you create products that you think people need to have validation or social proof, this is a place where you can put in those testimonials. This is another section that may be optional, not applicable for all people. So it's just here if you need it, and if you don't, you just remove it. And then the last part here on the website is your offer. You should always have something to offer on your website, something for those most engaged followers, the people who are most interested in what you're doing, something for them to act on. And it doesn't have to be an ebook like I have in this example here, where I'm selling an ebook, but it could be something like a freebie. It could be a free PDF guide. It could be something that you're selling. It could be a product. It could be a course you're selling. There's limitless ideas, right? But it's going to make sense for you. So you want to look into, if you haven't come up with an offer yet, think about what you could. What's your expertise? What's your specialization? What do you post about that might get people to be engaged? And this could even be if, for example, you're just a really successful creator and you want to send people to your Patreon or Substack or something, and just another place where you're sending people to access more information about you and possibly pay for that, right? So that's your offer. It doesn't always have to be paid, but that's definitely a good thing to start thinking about. So you can start with a freebie and then maybe change it to something that's paid down the road. So I have a lot of options for you in this, and I'm going to talk about them all as we go through the template as we build it. And then this is the last part, is a little contact form. You want to have a way for people to contact you on your website. It sounds weird, but this is something that kind of just validates to Google crawl bots that you are a legitimate website, that people can contact you somehow. So we have a contact form. That way that form goes to your email. You're not revealing your email address, so you're not going to get too much spam. Still possible to get spam, but you can always just decide to respond or just delete these emails. But it's nice to have a contact form. Very easy, very friendly way for people to get in touch with you. And then here at the bottom is just a footer and just more links and things that go to whatever content you have across the internet. Okay, so that's a quick template tour. I'm just going to check back here and see if we got a comment. Oh, great. We've got Rich here and he's watching on the XTV. That is so cool. And chatting on the laptop. Excellent. So the link to the template build link is below the video, and you should be able to find that if you want to follow along. I'm going to switch the screen here to another one. Whoops. How do I do it? Oh, this way. Okay. And then I'm going to switch to the actual template and we're going to start building. Okay. And then add. There we go. Okay. So this is the template once you open it. So I already have a card account, carrd.co. To use this template, you will need the Pro Plus subscription. Now, don't get too scared. It's $49 a year. And that is a great deal when you kind of think about how much investment it really takes to do a website. Okay, so that's $49 a year and you get all these features that I'm showing you. You can do a lesser plan, but there's some of the features you won't be able to use. And to me, I think if you are serious about what you're doing and you really want to connect with your audience in this way and kind of come across as like a little bit more, I don't know, professional, that's a small investment. I mean, I think it's the smallest investment that you can make. Yes, there are free options of websites, but it limits what you can put out there and make available to the people that are interested in what you're doing. So I'm not telling you have to pay. I'm going to walk you through this, and this is one that requires a paid plan. You can certainly pick one of the free templates Card has available and experiment with that and see if it has the features that you need for what you want to do. Or you can experiment with this one, give it a try. I think they do have a trial period, so if you don't like it or find it useful, you can, I'm pretty sure, I think it's 7 days or something like that. So there we go. All right, and I'm going to just do a reminder here. If you can't follow along exactly while I'm doing this, and I'm going to try and get as much done as I can. I will have to finish by 8:15 at the latest because of the after space discussion. But this is already a course that I've built and it's on my website. So if whatever part you get stuck on or whatever you need to pause and go back to, I have this on my website, capely.com, and you click on courses, or it's get started, courses, all courses, and you'll find it there. And and I have the links sprinkled everywhere, so you should be able to find the link as well. And you can go in there, it's free, and you can watch all the steps in little like bite-sized pieces. So you can just find the part that you got stuck on and just watch that little piece, or just watch the whole thing again and go at your own pace, okay? So no pressure if you don't finish today. All right, so from the build link, you sign up for a Card account if you don't have one, and start the free trial for the Pro Plus plan if you want to use this template, or you can start from a free template and maybe follow along a little bit, and some of the things I can show you will help you along the way, okay? So we're going to just go top to bottom, and all you have to do to edit things in Card is you hover around, and again, I'm doing this on a desktop computer. I don't think you can do this on a phone. So you'll want to be on a computer. You want to just click on whatever you want to edit, okay? And then there'll be a slide out that comes out, and this is where you make your changes. So for here, where it says your name, I would just simply put in my name, right? Easy as pie. And we're just going to go in and edit I'm going to show you how to edit the text and the images first, and then we'll go back and edit the colors and the fonts, and I'll show you that real quick, okay? Then the next thing we can do is we can hit done, and we can click on these links, okay? You shouldn't have to change any of these. The only thing that you might want to change is the Get My ebook, because that is the offer, okay? So if your offer is different, you can change this text, which will show up here as the navigation link. So let's say I'm doing a course, so you can click, you could do free course. If that's my offer, as soon as I click away, you'll see it shows up here, okay? And I didn't show in the demo, but when you do click on these, it just brings you to the part of the page. So this is just a long scrolling page. That's the style of website I made for this. So it's just one long page versus having several pages, because it's the most simple way to use card and kind of wrap your head around it when you're first starting using it if you've never used it before. Okay, and you'll see this part here where it says header end. So this is not visible on the website, right? Because I just showed you the demo. But this just indicates that this is the end of the header, meaning the title of the website and the navigation is typically above the header, okay? The next section here is our featured section. So all these little boxes you can edit with text for whatever you want. You could change this to latest from YouTube if you create on YouTube a lot. And here you click on this text and you maybe write a little bit about your video, why people should watch it, right? And you'll see here it says click this link, and then there's all these other there's underlines and brackets and parentheses, and there's an @ symbol and a link and all this stuff. So you can see how this is visually shown. It says click this link to start building with this template now, right? So this is actually a demo for the template that we're working on. But we could say, click this link to start watching the video. And what would we do? We would see this part HTTPS, right? So that's the start of the website address. You want to just highlight all that right all the way through until you get to the @ So the @ blank, when that is in the website address, when you're in card, that just means when someone clicks on that, it opens a new tab in the browser. Okay, so that's why that's there. And so you don't want to delete that. But we could delete that link, right? And then we would just paste in our YouTube link. I'm just going to make one up, right? And it could be your video, right? So you want to make sure it's right in there, in between the brackets, okay? And then the @ blank at the end, okay? And then these little underscores just mean that it shows up underlined here. So I can show you. If I delete that, you'll see that it's not underlined anymore, and then there's two underscores after it. But if I put them back, now it's just underlined, okay? So that's what's happening there. And there's this little cheat sheet here for the markdown formatting that they use in these text boxes. So very minimal style of coding. Like if you just read through it and think and try it out and experiment with it, it should all make sense to you. And if you want me to break it down further, I can, but I want to keep moving, right? So the next part we want to do is the button. And this is the button we want to send people to that video, right? So what we're going to do is make a few changes, because it says view post on X. That's not helping my YouTube channel. So we're going to say, we're going to do watch video on, and then we're going to go ahead to the icon here and find YouTube. Okay, and there's a few different YouTubes, right? There's the old icon, and then there's the new one, right? So you pick one, and then here is again is the URL. So you see we have the @ blank at the end, so meaning it opens up in a new window when someone clicks on that button. We want to just select that URL all the way there and then put in our YouTube video link or whatever we wanted to do for that, right? Okay, I'm just typing in something so there's something there. Okay, so then that button will go to wherever you want to go. And so I'm using YouTube as an example, but you can see there's all kinds of platforms and places you can use. Anything you can think of is in here. So if you want to send, if you are a writer on Substack, for example, and you want to feature your latest post, you could do that. Don't be limited by what I'm doing. Really tailor it to fit whatever makes sense for you. And the last part of this featured section is an image. You could put a video here, but I recommend just putting an image just to start, and then you can kind of play around with card, and maybe if you understand it better, you can start adding other things. And you just, like any other uploader or place where we upload images, you want to make sure you have the image on your desktop, click upload, and bring that in here. And there's minimal editing tools within Card to stylize the image a little bit. I don't have any images prepared, so I'm not going to do that right now, but it's fairly intuitive. And if you want this link to, or this image to be clickable, you can see we have the link URL option again. So we'd put in our YouTube video link, right? And then we do @blank, because if we're sending people to another website, we want to make sure that it opens in a new tab. And that @blank just means it's opening in a new tab. If you want people to stay in the same tab, you would have just the link, right? But for most of the time, when you're sending people away from your website, you want it to open in a new tab, okay? That's just standard practice. Okay, so now we have a featured section, right? So we can customize some of this other text and make sure it looks how we want. Next, the About Me. Now, I went into a lot of detail in the last video, which was like a month ago, about writing the About Me and preparing that. So I'm not going to get into it, really, because I've done a lot of videos on the About, and you can go to the website and at my website and watch the previous video, and it will go into the About section. And if you've done the previous work in the workshops, this will be very easy for you to write. But anyway, so I'll walk you through it. The image here obviously should be an image of you, so put that there. You don't need to worry about a link for that, but you can see there's alt text here. This is for people who have difficulty viewing screens, visually impaired, right? So the alt text is for their screen readers, but it also adds a little bit of a knowledge to the robots that crawl the pages, so it helps with SEO. So it's consider alt text a way to describe your image, but also inform whoever's looking at it, okay? So just keep that in mind, that little tip. So you put in your image, and then here I've made an array of buttons, and you customize these to whatever makes sense for you. If you're like, well, I don't have a blog, you could change this to something different. Or you could just go ahead, scroll all the way down here, and you'll see this trash can. Delete it, it's gone. Or you could add a new one, and you could make it anything you want, right? So follow me on whatever platform that you're on. There's a lot in here. So let's say we wanted to send people to our Twitch channel or something. So we just type TW, there we go, we've got Twitch. And then we can, subscribe on Twitch. There we go. So you could do something like that. And then if we close all these so that they're all like this, I can click on this and drag it if I want this at the top, because this is my popular channel that I want everyone on, right? And don't forget to put in the URL so that people are taken to your actual Twitch channel, right? So it would be whatever your Twitch channel is, and then you do @blank at the end, so it takes them off in a new tab, okay? So those are your buttons. You want to go through and decide what you want to use. I'm not telling you to create new things. Like if you don't have an Instagram, don't have an Instagram button. You know, put here what you use and what you already have are using. So if you don't have a Patreon, you don't have to create one to use this template. No. Change it to whatever you want or delete it, and like buy me a coffee and stuff. If you have like a Venmo where you take tips or something like that, put that here. You know, get whatever people might want to get information from you or see more of your content wherever you are. Put those in these buttons. That's what these are for, okay? Now the About section, I would say this is probably the longest you want to have as an About section. This is very wordy, okay? But what I've done here is I've made this top section all caps and bold, and it's I do this, this, and this. And I recommend that you actually literally put in the things that you do here, or who you are, a little bit about you, like in very short, succinct, this is what I do. Like there's no confusion. You found the right person, okay? And then this part here, the rest of it, you can copy this, select all and copy this and paste this into ChatGPT, into Claude, whatever AI you're using, a chatbot, and say, I want to write about me. Here are the instructions. And then you just put in the bullet points about you. Like put in, stuff you're doing on social media, the content you're creating, a little bit about you, where you're from, if that's relevant, whatever is relevant to what you're doing and the audience that's following you. So you don't need to get too cute. You don't need to get too creative here. You can use this text as a prompt for the chatbot, and then you can put in the stuff that's actually about you, and it will write you something. Okay, and you want to make sure you limit it to these 2 paragraphs. Don't go longer than this. I would even say go shorter than this. To me, this is still a little bit long. So just keep that in mind, but this is a little shortcut to writing your about me. And you can read this text. This is a guide to help you write it, okay? So hope that helps. And when you're ready, you just delete all this text, right? Just delete it and then paste in your actual about. Paste it in, done. It's done, right? Walk away. Okay. How's everyone doing? I'm rattling on. I'm going to check the chat here. Okay. Oh, okay. This is a good question. Yes, you can find the old icon or the new icon for Twitter if you search for X in the buttons. And the map, that's great. Great question. That's a little bit advanced. It can be done. It's not too hard to do. You can just embed a map from Google Maps. And I can get into that, but I really want to go through this whole template. And then if there's still time, I will get into how to do add a map, because that is a good thing, especially if you're a local business and you want to send people there. That's super important. All right, so the next part here is like any upcoming events. Now, if you don't do events, meaning like you never do anything, then you can delete this section. All you have to do is hover until you see this part that says container, right? And you can just delete it, okay? And we can say, do you want to preserve the contents? No. And then that's gone, and then you delete this. That's gone, and then you can delete this divider. That's gone. So now there's no events. And then you wait, whoa, 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 whoa. I want the events. What did I just do? We have the undo button. Don't you worry. We click that 3 times and we have it. Now, a little secret here. Maybe you have more than one event. I click on that container. I want to just show you the difference here. So there's the text box, right? That's where the text is. And then there's a container, which all this text is living in, and it's creating columns. Okay, so it's got 3 columns. So you have 1 column, 2, and 3. And on a mobile phone, it'll just be presented differently because of the screen size. And so what I can do is just click on this container. Maybe I have a few things coming up and I want to put in here. I just hit this little copy for the container, and now I can enter in 2 of these, okay? So you just click on these different elements and put in the correct date, right? And if you want to, you can flip this slide out to the other side by just using these arrows here. So sometimes it's in the way, right? So we do that, we click May, we're gonna say it's in September. And then if the year is relevant, include the year, but the time and the time zone, very important, especially when you're doing things online. And a title for the event, whatever it is, a little bit about it. You want to keep things succinct, but you want to also inform. So just put the most relevant information about this, and that will be all you need to do. And now I'm going to flip this back to the other side, and here are the RSVP links. Okay, so I made these icons, and again, we can change these to whatever we want. Calendar link, so if you create a Google Calendar event, you can make that public, and that's a little like secret thing that you can do to kind of get people to put things on their calendar. So you can create an event in Google Calendar, make it public, and it has an invite link, right? And you can take that and paste that invite link here, right? So that schedule the live stream on your calendar. maybe put in the description some of the links to where to find the video or where they have to go to buy tickets, whatever it is, and you paste in that invite URL here. So then when someone comes to your website, they click on that icon, the calendar icon, which means, oh, add it to calendar. Clicks on it, takes it to their Google Calendar, adds it to their calendar, and then it has reminders so they don't miss it. So I do this with my live streams and spaces a little bit, you know, so it's handy. It's very handy, especially if you get used to doing that. It's very helpful for people if you have guests that you want to invite onto your spaces or live streams. You can send them that link, and they do appreciate that because then you know they're getting the reminders now. And then also in the buttons, I did, you know, Facebook and YouTube, but you change these to whatever you want. And so X, all we have to do is put X, boom, we have X, and then you can see the color's wrong. We're going to get into that in a second. I will show you that when we go. I'm going to just go through all the content here, and then I'm going to go through the colors and fonts for the design. And I'm trying to get through this as fast as I can because I hope I can cover a lot. But you can see when you drop down these, there's color here. So it's pretty easy to figure out how we get to black, and now that we have the X icon. Not too hard to figure out. That one in particular. And then say we wanted to change this to you know, something else like Twitch or whatever. Let me do TW real quick. There we go. And then we would change that to that, I think it's like a lime green that it does. You could find the exact color, but you just need to get close so people get the idea. And so there you go. And you could also add, if you do it, if this is streamed multiple places, you can add another one, right? So, you know, you can add as many of these buttons as you want or remove them just by hitting the delete, okay? So that's how you do that. Now, this is where you have to monitor your website. There's no one updating this or changing this. It's just you. You're doing it, okay? So when the event is done, you either change it out with the other information or you delete it, right? So that event's over. No, that's gone. This one's next. And then you can copy and put in the next one, right? So it's a little bit of work, but once you get used to it, it's, I think, a great workflow for just keeping your audience informed. And if they get in the habit of knowing that they can go to your website to find all your latest information of when you're going to be having an event, I think this could be a very valuable section, right? So just keep that in mind, but you can always just remove it. All right, sip of water. Okay, so the newsletter sign up. This one is, you'll have to sign up with a third-party service that does email newsletters, and you can go with any option you want. I like Email Octopus for people who have never used an email newsletter collecting service. I don't even know what to call it. I'm blanking. But if you've never used one like that, you know, you've heard of MailChimp, ConvertKit, some of these other ones, Beehive's another popular one. So if you've never used any of these, I really recommend Email Octopus as like the little baby toddler version of all of these. So you can kind of like get into it and understand how it works and use it at a very beginner level with a very easy, low barrier to entry learning curve, right? So you can start using it without much knowledge. Okay, you don't have to learn a ton of stuff. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but it's by far the most minimal and very effective in that way. So that's why I recommend it for people, okay? Especially if you're starting out and you have no email list. I don't think there's any reason to pay, and they are very fair once you do grow. But once you do grow, you may want to consider moving to one of the other platforms that have more features. But if you just need to send out emails, this is what you want to get. Or if you just want to start collecting, I use them a lot when I'm like, okay, I'm just collecting emails. I'm not doing anything with it right now, but I just need to put them somewhere. So that works really great for that. And it's free, right? So for the first 2,000 email subscribers, I think it's free. You don't quote me on that, but if you do a little bit of research, it's easy to find. Now I have this template set up, so there's an image here. You could put any image that you want. It could be another image of you. It's set up to be a horizontal image, so just keep that in mind. And it could be an image of the type of content that you would be putting in your newsletter. And here you can customize the text. Is it a weekly newsletter? Is it monthly? Is it just a newsletter? You don't have to commit to anything. You know, you can even delete that completely if you don't want to commit to anything. So sign up, customize this text for whatever you want, and there's no need to have the link, I think, here. You can just delete all that, put whatever you want in here, and that will be perfectly fine for this. Now, here's the more advanced part. This is the form, right, that people are going to be submitting to subscribe to your email newsletter. Okay, so we click on that. Now here is where things are going to get a little bit confusing, and I just want to make sure it's clear. And on my website, I go into this more depth. I actually go through step by step how to do this. So I'm going to just do a quick overview, and there are tutorials and step-by-step instructions here, but I do walk you through it if you watch the course on the website. So what type of form of this? This is a sign-up form, right? So they're signing up for an email. And then via, right? Who is this with? You can see all these integrate with card already. So there's already a ton of these. You may already be working with one of these, okay? So you can already add them in. But you can see if you're not sure, shop around. Look at all of these. Personally, Email Octopus is so simple. Oh my God, it just makes it so simple. Very easy. So if you're not sure, just go with them. It's free. You can try it out and see if you like it, right? And then as you grow, or if you're using another platform like Beehive, ConvertKit, or MailChimp, or something like that, you can easily integrate it into here. The next thing, you need your API key, okay? And there's a link here that will give you instructions how to do that, and then the list ID. So these things have to be set up in Email Octopus. You create an account, you set up a list, right? So it could be newsletter subscribers is the name of the list. You get that list ID, you get your API key that's connected to your Email Octopus account, and now these can talk to each other and everyone's happy, okay? That's just a quick little summary. Need more of a walkthrough on that, we will definitely do that, okay? Because I think that email newsletters are very important to do, and I can get into that in another video. Happy to answer any questions on that, okay? So once you get all that connected, you want to test the form. Once we publish the site, right, you test the form, make sure that it works. Sign up with your email address or an alt email address, and make sure you signed up, you saw everything that you wanted to see, and you got the notification that you signed up, or whatever you have set up with that, and then you go into Email Octopus or wherever your email client is, and you check your email list. And are you on it? Did you sign up? Did it work? And if it didn't work, you find out what happened, reaching out to support or touching base with me. All right, here's the testimonials part, and I think this is fairly straightforward. We've kind of talked about all the elements that are here, right? So it's within a container, so it's very easy. So you can see container here when I hover over it. Very easy to just delete this section if you don't want it, right? But if you are someone that wants to have social proof of some kind, you can include testimonials here. So it's very easy. We just add the picture, right? We change the name of the person. We put maybe just a little credit, like who they are, what are they doing, and then their testimonial. So I just made that very simple for you. If you wanted to include more, you just select the entire container, copy it, and there you go. Now you can do 2 more. Okay, so very easy to work with. And if you want to use it, you can. If you don't, you can just delete it. Or if you're like, well, I kind of want to use this later, I believe there's a setting to hide it. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So we go into the settings, visibility, exclude. Okay? So now this is hidden. This will not be on the website, but you might want to use it later. So if you delete, it's hard to get back to this and find it and make it again, right? You're not going to be able to do that. You might have a little trouble. But you can exclude it in the visibility, so it won't show up on the website, but it's here, so you can come into the editor, click on it, change the visibility to normal, right? And then now you can edit it and it'll show up on your website. So that's a little trick if you're like, I want to use this, but I'm not ready yet, but I want to publish my website. So you can do that with any of these containers, any of these sections, anything that you want in here. All right, the last part, well, the second to last part. And how am I doing on time? Okay, 7:45. We might get into it. We might be able to cover all this. I'm really, really super excited about this. I hope a lot of you do this. So this is your offer, okay? What are you putting out there? What are you giving your audience an opportunity to act on? Be it something that you're selling or a freebie, whatever. Give them something that they can do and take action on, okay? So they've signed up for your newsletter, but they want to do more than that. They don't want to sit around and wait for a newsletter. They want to either buy something with you. They want to know what to do next. What do I do next, okay? So you can come up with any idea you want. A digital product. You could come up with a physical product. You could make an ebook. You could make a course. You could make anything. I don't know. You can go on and on and on for days thinking about something, but just pick one. If you have nothing, pick one, make it awesome, and put it on here. So here we go. We just have like some text for editing, just the title of whatever the product is, write about it, sell it a little bit, have a picture of what it is, and I'm going to just move this over here. And then here I just have a little tagline. So this is another opportunity to sell. You could add links in here like I did. And I've included some tips here. You can sell digital products with Gumroad, or you can sell physical products with a Printify pop-up shop very easily. So those are my little shortcuts, and you can use those links to actually start setting those things up if you want to try it out. And then lastly is your button, right? We want to have a button that goes to something. So buy now, price, get the free ebook, whatever, and then the link to the actual product. So if it's on Gumroad, you want to put the Gumroad link here. If it's a Printify pop-up shop, you want to put that Printify product link here, and you want to leave that at blank, right? Whoops. Leave that at blank at the end and just replace the URL part so that when they click on it, it takes them to a new tab and they don't get lost. They're never taken away from your website. Your website's always in another tab, okay? So that's how that works in Card. All right, so the offer's done. Woohoo, we're getting there. Ready? And the contact form. We want to have a contact form. So this works so simple, right? And this is a feature, I believe, that is why we have to pay for the Pro Plus plan, is for the contact form, which I think is so important. It's so vital, in my opinion, and it just legitimizes your website as an actual real website, okay? That's what separates being able to, for people who view your website, to be able to contact you. And you could say, oh, I'll just put my email address there. And it's a different experience. It's just such a simple touch to just level it up a little bit, to just come across that little bit more professional. And, who wants to copy and paste an email address over into another tab and all this stuff? Let them fill out a form. So we click on form. You can see here it says contact, right? And most importantly, recipient email. So we want to add your personal email address. The person filling out the form will never see this, but when they fill out the form, hit submit. That goes to this email address here, whatever you enter in this box. So you can add multiple ones if you want, right? But you want to have at least one. You don't want to let these just float around in space. I don't know where they go if you don't put one, honestly. So it may go just to your whatever email address you signed up for with Card. It might default to that, but make sure you put it in here. And then when that's done, you can click done, but you can also, upon completion of filling out the contact form, you can send them to a URL. You can display a message. Display a message is the most common one, and you could say, please be patient with a response, or whatever you want to say, or just thank you, right? You don't have to get fancy, okay? It's just something that kind of makes you feel like, oh, it's submitted, it went somewhere, it did something. So you can just think of it that way. And then at the very bottom here, I just have more navigation links. So what have I done? I've taken the buttons. These are the same buttons that we used up here in the About section. See? Okay, but they're just a horizontal. So it just gives another opportunity for anyone who's made it all the way to the bottom to visit those buttons in case they miss them. So you want to make sure these match whatever you decided to put up here. Okay, so it's a little bit more editing to do, and make sure all your links go to the right content, okay? Whoops. Okay, and then here, these are links that you can just delete, okay? So these were used, whoops, I copied them. These are links that are used in the template with the links to all the products that I talk about in this template. So you can always find the link you need if you want to try Printify Pop-Up Shop or whatever. But when you're publishing your site, you just want to delete these, okay? And then you have your name again. You change it to your name. And done. Down here at the very bottom, we want to make sure that we copyright with our name and that the year is accurate. So in 2025, we want to make sure we update that. And then this part you can delete, okay? You don't need that part. Done. And boom. So we're ready. The next thing that we want to do, I just scrolled to the top. I'm just going to check back to the chat. Okay, everyone's doing good. We're doing good. Okay, everyone's having fun. Great. Next, we're going to talk about colors and fonts, and this is going to be quick. And then I might have time to talk about putting in a map, which I think is a cool thing to think about doing. So we want to think about our colors. So in the previous video, which was a month ago, I know it's been a while, I did suggest picking out a color palette of some kind, and I did suggest picking out fonts from Google Fonts. So then we could use those on the template. It's very easy to change these because what I've done, if you click on like any of the text and then you click the paintbrush, this is where we get into the editing of the appearance. So here is the color. We just click on that and it opens up, you know, all the colors of the rainbow that we could ever think of. Now, if you created a color palette, you will want to use the hex code that is associated with that color, so you can ensure that it's consistent to whatever your brand is. So if you have a logo, for example, which you could add here, if you wanted to add a logo, you could do that. But you would want to make sure that you have that hex code for whatever colors you're using. And if you have a color palette, I use Coolors, COOLORS.co. Use them. That gives you the hex code and you can save your color palette. It's kind of handy. Okay, so let's just say that's my color, and then we have the fonts, and these are Google fonts. So you can go to fonts.google.com, go through and find what you want. Now for the headline title font, you could use something a little more creative if you want to. So you can play around and get something a little bit more interesting or funky, you know, that fits your vibe. And so this is a great example. So I'll show you this font because something happened. Whoops. You can see that these shapes, they're not the bullet points that I had in there. It's just because that font doesn't have those. So what I can do is I can just delete those if I don't want them. There we go. So that could be my headline font if you wanted. You know, you can get a little bit unique with this. Now, say you have a logo and you want to make sure you have your logo here. I would just click on this and then click plus image. It's huge, of course. And I'm going to just drag it up above my name. And then here's where you would upload an image of your logo. And once you do that, you can go into appearance and you can select from this drop down here different options that I've already preset for you, which kind of alter the size. So that might be a helpful one, or you can click none and make it fully custom. So just be advised that when you're in appearance, all of these are presets here that already exist. So if one of these is checked and then you edit it, it's going to edit the other one on the page. Okay, so if you're going to do something and you want to change just this specific one, you want to make sure none is checked and then make your changes. And then you can save it as another style if you'd like. Okay, so that's how you would add a logo in. I'm going to just delete that. Next is the navigation buttons, and let me see, we want to check first. So we made a change to the title, which is this setting here, title. Now let me show you something cool. Down here at the bottom, it did the same thing because this is title. So that's the preset for that. Okay, so yeah, I would still have to delete those little icons, but the font worked. So when I do this one, which is navigation links, this preset for buttons, and let's say I want to change this font to something different. We'll just, yeah, we'll just do this font. Okay, so now I want my navigation to be this font. Now down here, I think I deleted them. Yeah, I deleted that, so never mind, ignore that. So if there was more navigation links, those would change as well. So these are our two fonts. I would recommend just using 2 fonts, maybe 3, but you don't want to go crazy, okay? So we're going to use these 2 fonts. So this one is called Tilt something. Can't even read it. So all our headlines, I'm going to change to that. I'm going to change this one to Tilt. There it is. And I don't recommend this font. It's very hard to read, but I'm just using it as an example. So I've changed that title, and it should have changed wherever else I had a title like that. I guess that's the only place I use that type of title. And then I can do it here for this title. There we go. And then that may have changed. So it changed a few things here. So you can see those ones are the same font. This one is now. So you can see it changed a few things. Okay. And then if I go ahead and click on the text, this style is just the content. And we wanted to use, what was the name of this font? Able. So we want to change that to Able. There we go, done. And then you can see that's changed to Able, that's changed to Able, that has, so you can see wherever I have that text, it shows. Now we just want to make sure we go through all of these and they are one of the 2 fonts. So I'm going to change this one to Able. And so for this one, you know, I could make this bold. Let's see, weight. So this is, I could change this to bold, semi-bold, bold. Does it have a bold? So it doesn't have a bold, unfortunately. But you can go through your fonts and like, okay, well, I want to be able to use it thin like this, but also bold. So you'll have to just experiment and maybe try different fonts so that they have that ability. And then on the button, we want to do the same thing, appearance. Where am I looking? Font, here we go. So sometimes the stuff's just in different places, and we could use this font, and then say we want to have this be all caps. You go down to appearance, uppercase, and there we go. And you can go ahead down to the other buttons like this one, so you can see that one changed. Okay, and so you just go through everything and make sure that it's using the fonts and the colors that you wanted. Yeah, so the button, right, some of this stuff we want to change this color. So we want to go back to our title. I want this color, so I'm going to just copy that hex code. And then I'm going to put that here where the background for the button is. And when now it's that green, right? And then I could do the same thing for this divider here. So if we go into appearance and we find the border, so it's actually a border technically, but you just paste in the color and there you go. And for the link here, there should be, yep, here we go. So underline, we want to make sure the underline is that green, the link is that green, and then when we hover on it, you can do that green, and then you can do something fun, which is like you just bring down the opacity. So when I hover on it, it changes slightly, just kind of a neat little touch. There we go, perfect. And then if we would want to change the border on the container from that coral color to our green, we want to make sure these buttons have a font that we use. So we could try that tilt font. How does that look on the buttons? Ooh, that's rough. Don't use this font. There we go, and we can change this to uppercase. There we go. And if you wanted to change the color of these two, this is just like a gray, but we could, if you have a color palette with multiple colors, this could be another place to use a different color, you know, just to add a little contrast to your design, you know, so it's not all the same. And you'll see here that this now, the way this font is, this text is too long to fit on the button. So what can we do about that? Well, we can go ahead down here, down to where font is, and we can make these smaller. You just have to drag it once and you get the right size. So you can play around with that so it looks good to you. And here we want to change that font, and we'll make it that able. There we go. And that changed that there. So everything there looks good. Yep, oh, that's interesting. That one isn't. Oh, it's just not displaying. Interesting. Okay. And this all looks good. This one here, caption, I hadn't changed that text yet. Okay, where is font? There it is. Done. This one hasn't changed. There we go. So you kind of just look around, make sure, okay, yeah, all these are the right font, all these are the right color, except now I forgot this pink part, right? So I need that green. I think I still have it in my clipboard. Background border. There we go. And these, I want to change the color of these. There we go. We could even use that blue there. That might look nice. And then this is the border we want to change down here. And everything else looks great, right? So we might want to change these buttons to that blue. We would go back to the other buttons, get that hex code for the blue, copy, boom, paste, done. There we go. All right, so we've got all our fonts and colors in there, and I can't believe we did it. All right, how's everybody doing? Did you keep up? Is your website done? All right, next most important thing, save. We're going to save. Now you'll need to enter a title. You'll need to enter a description. For starting out, you can just put your name and what you do. And then just like you can take your about section, put it into ChatGPT or whatever and say, make this one sentence or make this 2 sentences and put that in the description. You know, that's just a quick little shortcut. Down here, you can publish to .card.co URL. So you can put your name and have a website address and publish it in your live. Okay, you could do that today. You could publish to a custom domain, which you can get into. It's a little more complicated. If you want to do that, you want me to do a tutorial on that, let me know. You can save it as a draft. So meaning, I want to come back to this later, save it as a draft. Now, if you see my button is grayed out, I can't click save. It's because I didn't do this. I didn't put in my title and I didn't put in my description. Okay, so once I do that, now I can save it, right? And we click save. I would recommend saving more than I did. I only saved here at the end. Probably good rule of thumb to save pretty regularly as you're editing. One final thing to touch on here is the mobile website. So we're editing the desktop version of a website. And one thing that you learn pretty quickly when you start working with websites is that most people are on their mobile phones looking at websites. So you want to make sure that that it looks good on a mobile phone. So you click the little mobile preview here and you can see we scroll and you make sure everything looks good. I did the design, so it should be good, but you do want to double check this stuff and make sure it makes sense. So you can see my buttons are kind of screwed up here. We're going to have to make that font smaller, but it's perfectly fine on desktop, but I want it to be smaller on mobile. So what can we do? We can go all the way to the bottom here. Mobile. What do we need to do? We need to decrease the size. Let's see what happens. There we go. One more. Perfect. Okay, done. And this is just the mobile site down here. Okay, if I edit it up here, it's going to do the desktop site. Done. Okay, keep scrolling. Any other problems? Any other problems? Okay. There we go. Looks good, looks good. Yeah, okay, that's fine. You want to move stuff around, like this might look good up here, just drag it or switch it back or undo. You know, don't be afraid to tweak stuff because you can undo. All right, and this looks good. This looks good. I wanted to fix this so it doesn't have those dots there because this font's a weird one. Done. All my buttons are here. There we go. All right, so it looks pretty good on mobile. Save again. And then if you've published it, you can preview it live. So if you published it with a card URL or your own domain, you can go ahead and look at it and see how it came out. And sometimes I do publish stuff, like you can publish it and still keep working on it. It really, no one's going to find it until you send them the link, especially when you're first starting out. But eventually Google will crawl your site one of these days and will find it. So you want to make sure if you publish it, you can put it under a password if you want to. So we go to this cog icon and we can put a password in. So that way, the only way to view the site is through a password. So it's still live on the internet, but it's password protected until you're ready to launch it. And if you have Google Analytics, you can put that here. And there's some other, there's other little things. There's, you know, a share image, which I do recommend doing. So when you share your website on social media, the little card that comes up, have something there for that. And this icon is what shows up in the browser tab, that little icon in the corner. So you can do that too. Those are just some little bonus features, but I got to wrap this up. Let's see. I'm going to just remind everyone, if you want this template, you're going to find the build link with this video wherever you're watching it. It's going to be the replies, the comments, the description, chat box somewhere. You're going to find the build link, so you can just use this template. You can play around with it, because once you get kind of comfortable in card, knowing what the different things do, you can start playing around with some of the other things that I didn't show you. So adding a background, changing the colors of other things in here. You can get a little bit crazy and try new things, and I want you to do that. And you can also try with a fresh template. You can get one of the templates that card has designed, and you can play around with that and experiment with it. All right, so no one asked me about my lighting. But my lighting was, I think, a total of $5, and I will share it. I will share it because there's a lot of people watching. This is my lighting setup. It's, well, let me remove this so you guys can actually see me. So these are daylight bulbs, they're 100 watt. I've got 2 lamps, one here. It's actually a bare bulb, so it's pretty harsh shadow. And then and then another lamp over here that is spilling light onto the ceiling that's coming down on me from this side. So my room's white, so that works for me. I don't have a backdrop yet. I might do a backdrop. If you're doing a lighting setup like this, kind of a hack way, a dark backdrop definitely helps, because then you wouldn't see the shadow behind me. But yeah, so I think it looks great. I don't know why people spend all kinds of money on lighting. And the only reason I have the lighting going because it's nighttime. I have my window right there. So I've got daylight coming in, and I can live stream during the daylight. So that's my secret little hack for you. Okay, so 20 minutes from now, we're going to go to Spaces on X, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. I want to know what you guys think, questions you have, where you get stuck, anything else that you want me to get a little deeper into or talk about more, or what you think I did was kind of silly, that doesn't make sense, and other problems or questions that you might have, or if you want to know about other platforms or other places that I recommend. If you are like a more established content creator and you need more powerful features than I showed you today, I can make recommendations for that. So I hope you will join us. The link for the space is also somewhere wherever you're watching this. It's going to be either below the video, on my profile. You can always go to my profile and find the link. If you're on YouTube, it's going to be in the description and also a pinned comment in the chat. So find the link. Join us in the conversation. You can just listen if you want to be just a listener and enjoy the evening listening, or if you want to participate, you're welcome to participate and ask questions. I hope to see you there. So that will be happening at 8:30 Eastern Time, which is 15, 16, 17 minutes from now. And I hope to see you there. So thanks everybody for watching. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Join me next week, same time. We're going to be talking about, what is the subject? Ooh, I forgot it. I think I have it here. I think I prepared. I think I did prepare. No, I didn't. Let me see. I can find it. I want to share what's next week's subject because I think it's pretty good. We're setting realistic goals next week. That's next week's topic, is setting realistic goals. So we have a website, we have our social media platform worked out, we kind of have our identity, digital identity sorted out. So if you're like confused by what I'm saying right now, go to the previous week's workshops and do the workbooks and all the materials and learn all this stuff. Because if you're not sure about your own digital identity and who you are and who you want to be online, you know, it's going to be a hard putt. So I recommend doing that work before. And you can get that on my website. Just click on the Create and Connect link on my website, and you'll find that link, you know, pretty easily if you just go to my profile or whatever, description, all that. All right, thanks everybody so much for joining. I hope you'll join us in the Afterspace discussion. That will be live very soon. And have a great night. I hope you learned a lot. It was a lot of fun, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.